When the Khalifa says, all Ahmadis in the world sleep at this time, Samina wa Atwana will all go and sleep, even if we don't understand, because we believe that Khalifa is under the guidance of Allah.
It doesn't have to be like because I'm Sunni, so I have to be pushed away. I have to extend my view, extend my knowledge.
Tell me who will give instruction today and say this is what we need to do. Is it the King Saud of Arabia or the Imam of Mecca or what? Who? And they are not being guided by the principle of Islam. They are not being guided by the principle of Islam.
What is happening in Palestine? Muslims are not united.
They are trying to make a unity, but this is not going to happen.
For me, as Syrian especially, this is something very remarkable, the importance of a Khilafah.
As Ahmadis, we can proudly say that we are the only Muslim sect with a Khalifa. And if we look around the world, all these other Muslim sects, they have no Khalifa. So in your opinion, what is the effect of Khilafat on Ahmadiyyat? And what is the difference between us and other Muslims?
By Allah's grace, we Ahmadiyya Jamaat, we are very fortunate that we have Khilafat in our system. And this is a promise God has made in the Holy Quran. For those who are rightly guided, He will provide them with Khalifa. Our practices and everything is seeing the fulfillment of what God says. لَيَسْتَخْلِفَنَّهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ. It is an emphasis God has made there that He will give them successes on earth. And we, Ahmadiyya Jamaat, we are seeing it happening amongst His life.
Your transition from atheism to Ahmadiyyat, what changed?
I used to have like role models before that were not always good and like as complete as the Khalifa is.
So I just wanted to ask, because this is a external view that you have, you're looking from the outside in.
Yeah.
So as a Sunni Muslim, what is your view of Khilafat Ahmadiyya?
Yeah, I find it very interesting and very welcoming and very, accepting, because the way I find people, they're very welcoming and very nice, and it doesn't have to be like because I'm Sunni, so I have to be pushed away, or it's just acceptance. So which I really appreciated.
What is the effect of Khilafat on Ahmadiyyat in your opinion?
Well, Alhamdulillah, like we know that Khilafah Tuwahid Sultana, meaning that Khilafah is the major source of our unity that bond every humanity together, especially in Islam, especially in Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat. And this is what from our own experience over the years, this is what other community lack.
I have found different because what people were saying negatively is totally different with what I am saying. So in that case, I have to extend my view, extend my knowledge.
So what did you see that attracted you towards Khilafat Ahmadiyya?
Simply, for me as Syrian especially, this is something very remarkable, the importance of a Khilafah. In Syria, we went through very, very difficult time, the crisis which happened in Syria. And during that time, the Khilafah was very, very clear, the real guidance for us. In that time, Azur advised us all to be away from any kind of involvement in politics. He asked us to be moderate, not to be source of problem, not source of fitna. And unfortunately, all sects, there were sects, if Muslim or non-Muslim, whoever they were lost. They didn't know because they didn't have leader who is the Khilafah.
In this day and age, we as Muslims in and out of Jamaat should be concerned that what has happened to that system of leadership that was formally introduced as that should replace the institution of prophethood when the prophet is no longer amongst the community.
It happened that Alhamdulillah, it proved to everyone that the Khalifa was giving us the right advice. And because of this right advice, we were safe and we were not lost. And we were not involved in this ugly and bloody war which happened there.
Tell me who will give instruction today and say this is what we need to do. Who in the world? Is it the King Saud of Arabia or the Imam of Mecca or what? Who will be the one to give this? No, we've seen all of them. They are just ordinary human like us. We be together. And they are not being guided by the principle of Islam. They're not being guided by the principle of Islam.
They have tried in several ways, several forms, several means to get Khilafat, but I think they themselves have agreed. In a small local establishment, you see in the mosque an imam is there and getting opposition from all angles. No instructions can be taken. But within us, as Ahmadis, Khilafat is a system, it's a command, it's one word and everything. Inshallah, we say Samina. So what?
You know what happens in the Arab world right now? The chaos. There's nothing combine us. Nothing like gather us in one like unit. This is long time ago. Islam of Hadrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has gathered the Arab. So this is how we started as Arabs, and now we are missing this leadership, and this is what actually attracted me to the Jamaat, because it's just one iman.
And for example, when you look at Palestine, for example, the conflict in Palestine, and if we look at how many Muslim countries there are, if they were to come together, to today we should have seen something improvement in Palestine. But why is that not the case?
Thank you very much. It's a typical example, like you've mentioned, what is happening in Palestine. Because Muslims are not united, Israel, which is just a small country, is able to infiltrate and do all the damages and still go free without anybody holding them responsible. If Muslims of the world were united, definitely their force would have been so strong that they will be able to influence and make sure that the right things are done at the Palestine, so that the innocent civilians are not punished like the way we are observing it now.
Even today, when we look at the Muslim Ummah, we see that there's disunity and conflict and wars throughout, for example, the Middle East. You're from the Middle East.
Yes.
Why do you think that is?
Simply because everyone say, about all the Muslims, all of them, maybe they have read a lot of books, a lot of teaching, but what is the difference between us and them? We have Khilafah, they don't have Khilafah.
So as you mentioned, the conferences, right? The OIC, that's the second biggest organization, transnational organization after the UN.
Yeah.
And it's been around for around 50 years now.
Yeah.
Is that why it's failed? Is that the reason it's failed? Because all these Muslim Ummahs, nations, countries coming together to form a unity without Khilafat for the past 50 years.
Yeah, exactly. There was like several tries.
Yeah.
And several conferences and several, they are trying to make a unity, but this is not going to happen now or in the future.
Do you think it's possible for Muslims to be united without Khilafat?
The beauty that we are enjoying as a Jamaat is because we have Khalifa in our midst, who speaks with one voice and everybody listens and obeys without any argument at all. This unique feature that is found in us as Ahmadis cannot be found in other Muslim sects because they don't have Khalifa in their midst. And for that matter, any other person does what he or she likes, and there is no center of obedience for an individual to say this and all of them will obey it. But in Jamaatul Ahmadiyya, we have that. When the Khalifa says, all Ahmadis in the world sleep at this time, Samina wa Atwana will all go and sleep, even if we don't understand, because we believe that Khalifa is under the guidance of Allah, and it is Allah who has given him that command to tell us.
As I told you when we were talking about this, I say the ship without a captain, you will not arrive to the point you want to be in. So in the Muslim community in general, I would say that they lack guidance, and the only thing is making them lack that guidance is the fact they don't have a true leader. And I think that's what actually helped us as Ahmadi communities, that we have a leader, which is Khalifa Marzouz Masroor Ahmad.
Well, as far as Ahmadiyya is concerned, apart from the institution of Khilafah is concerned, they are not using Pakistan constitution, they are not using Nigerian constitution, not the British constitution. Rather, the Dustur al-Asasi, which is the Quran, is what the Jamaat stand on. And who will give this instruction? Who will give this verdict? No any other person rather than the Khalifa.
How do you see the difference within Ghana of the effect of Khilafat over there?
Definitely, Ghana is a special or unique country when it comes to Jamaatul Ahmadiyya in terms of our affection for Khalifa. And that has resulted in us living in unity and doing everything that is giving us progressing all the time. Meanwhile, we don't see that with our other fellow Muslim brothers. We have the Shia, we have the Tijaniya, we have the Wahhabis, and so many others in Ghana there. But there is no unity amongst them. And so they are not able to progress and move forward like the way Ahmadiyya Jamaat is doing.
Even in my country, as I keep referring to, many people tried. Right now, as I speak, they have what we call the chief imam of the country, the Ghana.
Okay.
Everybody claims he's associated with the chief imam, but that chief imam himself have come to realize that he needs to follow our Amir to be able to get guidance.
Okay.
So everything that they do, now our Amir is contacted on daily basis for guidance. So that is Khilafat.
When they come to our function, they themselves testify and mention it that they admire us, our administrative structures, our unity, our progress. And we always remind them that this is happening because Khalifa is in our midst. It's not just happening by chance. So they should look at the importance of that and reflect and accept the Mahdi alayhi salatu wasalam and come and be under the shade of the Khalifa.
And people, they can check themselves. And I urge everyone, every Muslim, if this message to
If you just find
the
it,
Muslim,
let the Muslim Ummah know what your message
let them just try to be open-minded, and then go and search themselves, see our website, see the YouTube channels, the channels. They can watch MTA, especially Arab MTA 3, Al Arabiya, every day, so they can watch, and it's something. It's not secret.